On to the Spurs, we stay in the Premier League. Stuart, here a little bit of the movements that now the Spurs have done. And now let's talk about your boy, Antonio Conte. Do you like the business he has made so far?
Yes, to a certain degree. I think Richarlison will give them a little bit of everything, because if Harry Kane doesn't play, he's unfit, he can play at centre forward. If Harry Kane is fit, he can play in the wide areas. If Song's not fit, or he could swap positions with Kulusevski, so that works. Bissouma's a player that I've always liked at Brighton. I saw him 2 or 3 seasons ago, and I couldn't understand why Chris Hughton didn't have him in the team much earlier. Then when he came into the team, he's an all-round midfield player. He's strong. He's a good passer of the ball. I think it'd be an outstanding signing for them. And, and Perisic, who last season I thought had his best season for Inter, playing as a left wing-back. That's exactly what Conte plays. He plays with wing-backs. Perisic, I think, will do a really good job. There's talk of Longley going to Spurs to play in that back three. I'm not sure, and I think Ali would probably agree with me. I hope he agrees with me, that Longley over the last couple of years at Barcelona hasn't looked like a top-class player. And I don't think he's going to improve Spurs if he does go there.
Now, on Richarlison first.
Okay.
Do you like him for Spurs? Enough to compete against Kulusevski, for example?
Well, I think Richarlison is a better player than Kulusevski. I think he's an upgrade on Kulusevski. Now, I don't know that that's a position where Richarlison would like to play the most, but the position that he would like to play the most, which is sometimes down the middle or off to the right-hand side, that's going to be taken up by Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. So if you want to find a place on the field, you're Richarlison, yeah, you're going to have to take perhaps that right-hand side coming from a wider area. If it comes down to, do I play Kulusevski or do I play Richarlison? I'll play Richarlison. I think he has more variety in his game, and I think he brings a lot more offensively, and certainly in creativity, size, goals, productivity than Kulusevski does. In terms of Clement Lenglet, yes, I agree with you, Stewie. I agree with you. Yes. If I'm Spurs, I stay away. Lenglet has been... Instead of a player who we have seen progression, we have seen regression. We have seen a guy that has gone backwards. And talking about going backwards, speed is not his strength. I don't like this matchup at all of Lenglet being exposed in the Premier League with strikers that have speed to get around into the channel. And if you're playing with a back three, guess what? Strikers will spin off, get into the channel, and he's going to be forced to defend out wide. I don't like that matchup at all.
Well, it's interesting now, obviously, with that competition within a team is always healthy, especially when you're competing in the Champions League, but also with what has been COVID, of course, the normal injury season by season. What do you think of Conte's plan, Shaka, to have a backup for every position?
Well, I think every club competing at the top end of the Premier League has to, especially as you go into a season with Champions League and meaningful European action also to contend with. So it makes sense that Antonio Conte continues to fill out the squad as he does. But right now, I'm in a little bit of disagreement with Ali. I don't see how Richarlison gets into that starting lineup as a preferred first choice, but it gives options.
Wait. So you're saying Kulusevski is better than Richarlison? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then we disagree. Yes, you're correct.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm again in agreement with both Ali and Stuart in terms of Longley, but then as much as you criticize Longley, you look at Spurs back three. So many. Eric Dyer just springs to mind, and that it never seemed like a natural fit as centre back either. So Spurs do need reinforcing, and without much availability, who do you go for? So there's no really good option for Antonio Conte in my mind, but you do need bodies if you are to continue to compete, if you do expect to finish top 4 at the very least again next season.
And we know that Tottenham doesn't really love to spend a lot, but with Antonio Conte now and trying to help with his chances in the Champions League, personally, Stuart, what do you think of the coach's now plan to finally get a little bit further in the Champions League, looking for that title?
Absolutely. He's got to make sure that Spurs stay in the top 4 next season. They've got to have a good run in the Cups. They've got to have a good run in the Champions League, because they've given him some money. He's demanded that they back him. He had his tantrums last season, which he always will, Antonio Conte, when things aren't quite going right. But he's a very good coach. He proved that towards the end of the season. I think Spurs will get better and better under him, but they've got to make sure they get off to a good start. Get Antonio Conte happy, get the players playing to their certain system, and I think Spurs will have a good season. And when you go back to the centre-backs, they've got a couple that could come in. Rodon and Sanchez, Davison Sanchez, are the players in behind, which I wouldn't say are the greatest players, but that may be an area they need to improve.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.